Hello and welcome back to the Board Hoovian YouTube channel, and today I'm giving you a top 5 again, and this week is going to be the top 5 best New Who series openers. I might do a Classic Who one later down the line, but for now I'm tackling New Who, and I'm going to be giving you 5 series openers in no particular order, which I believe to be the best. Before I get into this list, please click the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I really just want to keep growing, and yeah, that would be really good for me. And yeah, like the video if you enjoy it, comment what you think throughout the video, and ding the bell for notifications so you can be notified every single time I upload. But for now, let's get into the video. Now, where to begin if not with the first episode of New Who, Rose. I think Rose, it's a bit of an maybe overlooked and underrated episode. I think people look at it, some people talk about it like, you know, it's the thing that started it, which it is. It's not as amazing as some people say, but also it needs to be recognised for its significance of what it did and the way it was such a massive shift of tone from the classic era. You got to realise this is the first thing people had seen of Doctor Who on TV, and for it to be this kind of drawn back, this kind of normal and relatable. And the Doctor's not really the main character of this story. Rose is, as the title says. You know, seeing the Doctor's world through her eyes is the great way of kind of resetting the show and getting a modern, you know, audience involved. And for that, it's a phenomenal story. And there are some issues with it, and they are mainly just the Auton aspects. Not the Autons as a villain. I think it's really cool that they brought a classic villain like the Autons back. It's the Mickey scene. You know what I'm talking about, when Mickey turns into an Auton, the whole pizza, stuff like that. That's not the great bit. But everything else I do think works. The way she reacts to certain things in different ways. The way that, you know, clearly she's worried about her, you know, boyfriend potentially being dead and the Doctor doesn't really care. The way, you know, the clash between the human approach and the alien approach, you know, coincide. It's a perfect introduction to someone to Doctor Who, because it just has nothing off it. There's nothing you need prior to it. You go in and you watch it through her eyes, and it's perfect in that sense. And it functions completely. And as you can see, this is the story which all of New Who was built off. And, well, it's nearly been 20 years. It's been 18 years since Rosette. So, you know, the show's done quite well. Next, I'm going to be talking about Smith and Jones. Smith and Jones is the first series opener with a new companion. And I think it really does a great job of, first of all, you know, introducing that character, showing how they are different to Rose and how they've got different capabilities in that kind of... We start off with her, and then we see the Doctor through her a bit, and then as soon as the alien aspect starts, bam, you're seeing it through both of their eyes. And I like that. And the story itself, I just love the setting, you know, hospital on the moon. It's just one of those Doctor Who ideas where it's like, yes, that's kind of cool. I love that. And Martha as a character, I really love Martha as a character. And her story arc through Series 3, I really love it, because I know people complain that she loves the Doctor. I don't complain that she loves the Doctor. I think it's a good part of her character, because her story arc is about her learning to actually just deal with that. It's her learning, you know what, the Doctor doesn't actually care too much about me, and the best thing for me is to step out, and it's her being independent, and that's why I love Martha. And yeah, with Smith and Jones, you know, you set up her family and everything at the start of the episode, and at the end of the episode you go back to all of that with like her brother's party, and you can see in that moment she just needs some sort of escape, and the Doctor's providing that. And I love the little callback to the start of the episode with the Doctor's tie thing, proving he can time travel. I kind of like that playing of time travel like that in Doctor Who. I do really enjoy that. But the story itself, the whole flying of the plasma balls, the introduction of the Jadoon. The Jadoon are great in this, you know. Even back in 2007, this is an amazing, you know, villain to create. No CGI related. It's all being moved around. It's fantastic, and I really like the Jadoon. And they're a very good function villain. I mean, they're not really a villain. They're just kind of anti-heroes, would you say? Because they kind of, you know, do bad stuff, but they are kind of lawfully good, I guess. That's kind of what you'd say. But yeah, it's just I really love it. It's such a fun, comfortable episode for me to watch. I love Smith and Jones, and that's why it's on this list. Next, I'm going to be talking about Partners in Crime. Partners in Crime, again, introducing a companion. Or is it? It's not introducing a companion, it's reintroducing a companion. It is obviously bringing back Donna to us. We are seeing Donna again. So it doesn't really have the job of you seeing the world through her eyes, because she's already seen the Doctor's kind of side of the world. She already knows aliens and stuff are out there. So instead, you're seeing her mundane life, and the Doctor's, and it's kind of just showing these parallels until they meet up. And I love that, the way that her life isn't going nowhere. She's regretting not saying yes. The scene where you just see her and she's not moving, and her mum's just probably hours on end panning from her mum just yelling abuse at her basically for being unemployed. And then you see Wilf for the first time as Donna's granddad. Obviously this is the first time we actually find out that is Donna's granddad, and that's such a lovely scene. And just the constant parallels between the two, and the fact that they're both happen to be working on this adipose is great. Like with the other series openers, the characters are the heart of it. The heart of it isn't the alien plot. That's just there to get the story going. The whole adipose thing, I don't mind it. It's a fine plot. It works. It flows and everything. I do like how it's resolved in the end, in that it's kind of poetic in that in order to defeat them, they both needed to be there, and he does need her second capsule. It shows that they are like the perfect pair, which they are, really. They are the perfect pair. And I like how the Doctor in the end actually tries to save Miss Foster, but can't, because she doesn't believe he's trying to do that. But in the end, he is trying to save her because he thinks she's going to be killed, which she obviously is. It's a bit comical, that ending, but still, I love Partners in Crime and what it really shows for Donna, because it really delves into just where her life is at, and you just kind of feel for her a little bit. And you look at the Doctor, and the Doctor just seems so lonely. And you look at these characters, and they need each other at this point. They really need each other. And then obviously you've got the comical moments of the whole "you just want to mate" kind of thing, and also the amazing shock value of when Rose turns around. And I remember seeing that for the first time and just thinking, what the hell? Rose is back. I think I was 6 at the time. Not even 6, I was in 5. I was about to turn 6, but I remember seeing that and thinking, oh my god, Rose is back. But I was a little kid, so yeah, that thinking back to that 2008, that was like peak Doctor Who as a kid. Oh my god, I was such a little kid watching all of this. And now it's 2023. But yeah, Partners in Crime, fantastic. Next, I'm going to talk about the 11th Hour, and what's there to say that hasn't been said already? I mean, it is just, from beginning to end, a brilliant reset. This has got a very similar job to Rose, but it's also got a different job. Rose, I think, had it a little bit, maybe harder and easier in some aspects, because no series had happened recently. They had to reset it for a generation. But with the 11th Hour, not only are they resetting, they've also got to have a lot more continuation from the previous series than Rose did, because obviously it's carrying on from something which aired a few months back, not over a decade ago. And yeah, with the 11th Hour, you're bringing in Matt Smith, you're bringing in a new head writer, new production team entirely, new companion. You've got to introduce a new companion and introduce a new Doctor. Both are done perfectly. And this is coming from someone who grew up with David Tennant, so I have to admit, going into this episode, I did kind of have a vendetta against him a little bit in the back of my mind, because he was the guy who replaced David Tennant. And still, that scene at the end of him confronting the Atraxi, instantly as a kid, confirmed in my head, he's the Doctor. Instantly. That was it. It was perfect. The introduction to Amy is so good. I mean, the older person is Amy. I just knew that was going to be Amy, but still, it's still a good reveal. How, the Doctor's late, in the end. Was it 12 years late? Oh no, 12, he's 14 years late. He's 12 years late for the Atraxi invasion, and he's 2 years late picking her up. And it's a very good episode. The way it shows him in his kind of regeneration madness and slowly recovering from it. and developing his personality, and also when it shows kind of the influence he's had on Amy. You know, you do believe that this is a character who's known the Doctor for 10 years, despite the fact that we've only seen her for 10 minutes. And I just love that. I love that Stephen Moffat instantly just likes to play with time. And I do like that approach to Doctor Who, as I mentioned earlier. The idea of playing around with time travel and using it to the advantage of the writer is something which should be done way more often. And the 11th Hour is just a phenomenal story. You know, it's a whole hour, I think. I think it's a whole hour, isn't it? And yeah, it's just brilliant. Fantastic. What else can be said? And I've got to say, Series 5 is a phenomenal series. Finally, I'm going to talk about the pilot, which I actually don't think is talked about that much. Obviously, as well, you've got, you know, other stories, which I could have mentioned. I think the Possible Astronaut is quite good, but functionally, you know, it relies heavily on the series arc, which I think falls flat overall in Series 6. And Series 7, no way was going to get in here. Series 8, maybe not. Series 9, no. None of the Whittaker ones were being considered for this. Maybe Woman Who Fell to Earth, but realistically, I think the pilot had to be in here. It's an episode I always come back to, as it really was a hard reset of Doctor Who at a time when it wasn't expected, or maybe even needed, because it was going to get one series later with a change in Doctor. And with the start for Series 10 in the pilot, you know, you've got a new companion in Bill. You are establishing Nardole as now a permanent cast member, which he wasn't really established as beforehand. And you're establishing this new series arc with a Vault. And I really like where it takes the Doctor. You know, the idea of putting the Doctor down as a university professor after what he's gone through. Just, I'm sorry, I just love Capaldi's Doctor. This is just where he goes. And bringing him to this point as a character just makes a lot of sense, and it does so much for his character. And the way he develops a relationship with Bill, like, he clearly wants to travel around with her, but he's made a vow and he won't do that. So he just develops a genuine bond with her as her, you know, tutor, and I love that. It is very Seven and AC, and it's just Bill and the Doctor in Series... I really like Series 10. I really like Series 10. But yeah, the pilot does so much. And then suddenly, you know, when she's on her own, finding out these alien things, and involves the Doctor, and then, you know, for her, obviously, because time skips a lot. For her, this tutor, which she's known for a year pretty much, is now pretty much... No, not a tutor. He's actually an alien. And he can travel through space and time, and that's all revealed to her. And there's obviously the funny bits with the TARDIS scene where she's slowly realising it's big on the inside, but as well the ending with her giving up Heather and, you know, saying goodbye to her, which obviously she doesn't actually say goodbye, as we find out in the finale, but that's, and her, you know, saying, you know, those tears aren't hers, but also when the Doctor's trying to wipe her memory, and she says, imagine if someone did this to you, and then you just hear Clara's theme play, and you just see in Capaldi's eyes that just little bit of, I know it's happened to me, but I can't remember it, and you just see that loss in his eyes, and that little thing she says there instantly convinces him, yeah, I can't remember what happened the last time, but I know I probably enjoyed it. And he takes her out, and I love the positive energy of them leaving of getting into the TARDIS at the end of that episode. I really love that, and it just kickstarts a fun, good series in Series 10. I loved Series 10, and I haven't loved a series as much since. Anyway, that is all we've got time for today. That was my top 5 best series openers of New Who. List me your 5, doesn't have to be in a particular order, just tell me your 5 episodes. And yeah, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, ding the bell for notifications if you want to be notified of any videos I upload in the future. I'm the Border Whovian, and I'll see you around.